Good morning, Lana Scott Lighthouse. So, guys, am I like one of the only people on YouTube? I just don't care if my hair ain't been brushed. If I got something to say, I want to say it. So, y'all are always going to find me in my natural state because, it's not because I don't care or anything. I do. I just, when I have something I want to say it right now. So, I got my morning cup of Joe. Actually, this is my second one. It is 5:25 Northern California. Actually, that's not even true. It's because that clock's like 15 minutes fast. So it was only about 10 after 5. At any rate, I did want to say, if you ever have somebody tell you that you need to be somebody different than who you are to get a message across, there's times when that advice is helpful to you, but don't hide your light underneath a bushel. You still can only be who you are. And that message keeps coming back to me again and again and again. And the older I get, the more I realize, if you don't like me, why would you hang around me? You know what I'm saying? So I've been this way for 60 years. How do you change? I've given lectures and I've given, when I've done things in front of friends and stuff and explained how things, because at one time I had a study group, and I don't think y'all know this about me. At one time, I had like 6 students, and we used to get together. It only lasted for a couple of months because life kind of got in the way, and everybody ended up having to do their own thing. But I had like 6 students, and we got together every week to meditate. We got together to learn simple spell work. I gave little mini lectures. I had like 6 students, and they used to all pile around in my house. I had Tyler, I had Shy, I had Brooke, I had Nick, or maybe there was only 4. I think there was 1 or 2 others, but I can't remember everybody because not everybody would come every single time. But I did have a study group. I was teaching. I was doing rune readings for everybody. I was doing tarot card readings for people. I would do tarot card readings and use my rune readings to see if my tarot readings, because usually if you do a reading and ask a specific question with tarot cards, and then you do a rune reading, one will back up the other. If you ask a question, you're going to get the same answer on tarot or your rune readings. We learned that. Then I did research on it and found out, well, yeah, it's a divination device. So no matter what divination device you use, unless you ask it a different way, it'll give you the same answer, but in a different way. Okay, so I've learned a lot about that stuff over the years. And I don't teach anything anymore, but I have talked to a couple of people about asking them about what they thought about me adding tarot, because I just got tired of doing tarot readings. Guys, you got to realize I did that for 20 years for friends and family, and rune readings too. I did both. And because tarot's, you have to lay out the whole thing, but I did it for 20 years. So, and I didn't want, when I first started my channel, if you go back and look at my first videos, I did not want to do any kind of divination whatsoever. But people have, and I actually talked about, that was when Ukraine was, I think, are they still going through something? I don't know. I haven't even gone, I don't watch the regular news anymore, guys. I just don't. So, but anyway, let me finish up one thought, and then I'll get back to the other thought. So, with my first thought that I really came on here to talk about to begin with. However you are, be that way all the time. If sometimes you're excited, be that way. If sometimes you're kind of mellow and because sometimes there have been times where I would just go into slow-mo. Y'all have seen some of my videos where the runes were just like, when I do my rune readings, I don't know if I'm picking up their energy or if they pick up my energy or if it's a mix of both. Because sometimes I get more excited when I do the readings. Other times, when I'm looking at them, I guess it depends on the message they're wanting to tell. They just pull me down into them, and I'm just in over-focused mode, and I feel like I'm in slow motion. Other times, something about them is exciting, and they're like, oh, this is good. You got to da 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 da. And so I go according to how the runes are making me feel as I lay them out, depending on what messages they want to give. So, guys, it's kind of a two-way, conversation, sort of, kind of. I'm asking a question, they're giving me the answer, or I'm just saying angels. Sometimes I'm just asking the angels and the spirit guides, what do I need to tell the healers, or what do I need to put out there? Okay, so, and other times I'm like, well, this is something that I'm kind of thinking about. And then I kind of want to know, or I'll just, okay, what's the message for today? So sometimes I don't even ask spirit guides or angels. Do you see what I'm saying? It just depends on how it comes out of me. And a lot of times it has to do with what went on with me and my soul while I was sleeping. So, sometimes I'm going to be excited. Sometimes I'm not. And I used to have a friend, and she would tell me, oh, when you slow down, everybody listens to you. And I have found that to be true. But at the same time, there's other people that know me that go, but Lana, I like it when you're excited. I like you better because your eyes are shining. You look like you're happy. You're excited about what you're talking about. And they've told me, don't ever change that. Shy, who y'all know is one of my best friends. I don't talk about her too much on here. And my daughter-in-law, Courtney. Both of them are two of my best friends. Them and my friend Jen in Tampa, and the other friend, we just went our separate ways. Not everyone's meant to stay in your life forever, but they like it when I'm excited. They're like, they don't never tell me unless I'm emotional about an animal or something like that. That's where I'm wanting to cry. It's one of those type of emotional things. Then they'll tell me, Lana, calm down. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, they always. My daughter-in-law, matter of fact, I'm going to probably upload this conversation between me and her after I take the snapshots that I did and I break them down, so I take the faces and stuff off of them so I don't put her face on YouTube. We just had a conversation, and she's like, stop that. She's like, quit feeling like that, because I was going through something emotional yesterday. And she's like, you are... How did she say it? I have to upload to my community part of my channel, guys. But she's just telling me, she's like, you can be so open-hearted and so charismatic and so friendly. She's like, I love that about you. Don't change that. So I have more people telling me to be my excited self than telling me, calm down, tell it slow. Well, I've come to realize some people want you to be yourself because that's the way they love you. Other people want you to do something a certain way because they want to control you. That was a hard lesson for me to swallow, that there were some people that I thought loved me, and maybe they did love me, but they wanted to control me and have me go a certain way or do things a certain way. And guys, at 60 years old, especially some of these people over the years, I've been older than them. And I'm like, who are you to tell me? I've already lived through more than you have so far. And while everybody's on a different path, everybody goes through the same lessons. You know what I'm saying? But in different ways. Like I had one friend, she lost her house back in the day. I had a friend, lost her house because her house burnt down. Me, I lost my house because I did my paycheck a certain way, and we had lost some income that we had, and my son decided to go off on his own thing, and I didn't have no more help, and Will had passed away. My niece had passed away. I could no longer take care. My house needed a lot of work done on it. I could no longer take care of it. And I just got to a point where I was just mentally and physically exhausted. I went through 3 years of fucking hell, people. Between COVID, Will passing away, my niece passing away in my house. I left my job at Head Start. I came to California for a while. I went back, and then I came back to California and went through some more shit. And I've paid my dues. I'm 60 years old. Social Security's telling me I can't retire for 6 more years. And I'm like, you know what? You see this? I'm not waiting six more years. I might work part-time and collect part of mine, because I do have some other money that's due me whenever I retire from the state of Mississippi, from being a corrections officer for 6 years, almost 7 years. So, and if I can save up money between them, because at some point I'm going to offer readings, guys, and they're going to be cheap, and that's because I want them to be affordable. But and I am going to do them online, but it's probably going to take me, I don't know how many more months. But I'm still trying to get some beginning stuff sorted out. And until I get that sorted out, I'm kind of stuck where I'm at. I'm not really stuck, but we're working on it. We're working on it. So that was my first thought, getting out of the way. The other thing was always be yourself. if people are going to love you for being yourself, they're going to love you anyway. They're going to love you anyway. And that is something that's been really hard. Now, some of you might be younger and go, well, I would figure that out. Yeah, but I'm a diehard. I am going to be me regardless. And sometimes I just don't get it. And I don't always listen to my instincts. That's why I always tell you guys, listen to your instincts. So this is our morning together over coffee, guys. I miss that. I miss that with Will. That's how I fell in love with him, was over Morning Joe. Seriously. He would come by on his way to work. And we did that for 4 months. I mean, we did that for 4 months before we even really started dating. He came over for me to get to know him. And then we started dating, and everything followed after that, you know. And that was the smartest move I ever made with a man. Ever. Was waiting to get to know him first. People, if you think there's something to be had for jumping into bed right away, not for me anyway. I have to get to know him, because you get to know someone first, and then the things come after. And maybe I'm just old-fashioned that way, but when I was young, the relationships I had that resulted from jumping into bed with somebody within the first week never lasted. Will, it would have lasted the test of time, because we waited and got to know each other. So, and I genuinely loved the man. The man genuinely loved me enough that he came back several times after passing away to say hello, let me know he loved me. My niece too, for that matter. Something to be said for that, folks. When you're young, you don't think nothing of it. And if you want it to be a fly-by-night thing, and you just want to, oh, he or she's just hot, and I just want to jump in the bed and jump out again and go about my merry way. Our world has changed since I was a kid, but it's just different. Actually, I think it's different in some regard where kids are. I don't think kids always just want to just jump in bed anymore either. Even if they do, I don't think they do. Like, there was a period, well, I don't know, guys, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the world hasn't changed so much. But in a lot of ways it has. Just when I see how far it's fallen apart. Anyway, so this was just a, two little messages I wanted to get out. The one about, just be yourself, and the other about, I do want to put up the on the community part of my channel. I'm going to put up a conversation me and my daughter-in-law had yesterday, and people don't. Another thing, make sure you tell everybody that you love them. They could have an accident tomorrow and no longer be here. They could have a sudden heart attack tomorrow, no longer be here. Somebody could be suffering and kill themselves, and you never get to see, or unlive themselves, and you not get to see them and tell them how much they meant to you. Tomorrow somebody could come up and, hey, I know I love you, but I'm hitting the road, I'm moving to another town, I'm moving to another country. Guys, you just never know when someone that you really love, that you think they're going to be there forever, that they're not going to be there forever. Think about that. Really think about that. I thought me and Will had another 10, I've told y'all before, I was actually kind of in the mood of thinking about breaking up with him, because he spent so much time with his family, and I know he loved me, and I know I loved him, and I would have married him if he'd have asked, but it just didn't look like it was ever going to go that way. And I was tired of waking up alone all the time, and I didn't want to just move into his, and he didn't want me to move in with him anyway. So I think it wasn't until the end, when he realized how much he loved me, that he would have been willing to do something different. And then he no longer had a choice, because he was no longer here. So you think about that. And guys, when I was in junior high, I was 16. There was a high school kid. They didn't know he had a heart problem. Was going to school one day. As he walked into the building, this was a 17-year-old kid, dropped dead of a heart attack. Dropped dead at 17 years old. I still remember that boy, too. When I saw his picture in the paper, I was like, oh my God, I know him. Because the high school and the junior high were side by side. Guys, you never know when someone you love is going to be taken from you. You never know when you're going to have a drunk. I recently saw there's a new channel on YouTube. A mother and father are grieving. All three of their children were in a car hit by a drunk driver. All three of their kids were taken out at one swipe. It can fucking happen. Please, please, please. If there's somebody you love, tell them today. All right, so that's... sorry, guys. Memories. Memories. All right. That's my message for this morning. Please be yourself, and please make sure you tell people that you love them, because they could be here today and gone tomorrow. All right, now that I've gotten myself in a state, I got to go get dressed and get ready for work. All right, guys. So you don't want to look back at like I am at 60 years old, and look back and look at all the things that you could have, would have, should have done. And we're all going to have those times. So think. I love you. Lana Scott Lighthouse.